Now, 8Sports Blitz with Nolan Knight and Madeline Frentress.
A Colonial District class with playoff spots on the line. That was the situation at this week's 8Sports Blitz Game of the Week. While in our rivalry Game of the Week, it's a Capital District clash between Patrick Henry and Atlee. Hello and welcome into 8Sports Blitz, everyone. Thank you for making the Blitz your home for high school football. Week 7 of the season officially got underway tonight, and as we get closer and closer to the playoffs, each of these games mean more and more in terms of making or missing the postseason, and we have a couple of playoff-type atmospheres tonight. Just like at Matoaka, the Warriors hit the road for Thomas Dale looking for their first win of the season, while the Knights were hoping to remain undefeated. Matoaka, though, despite being winless, played with passion. Quarterback Steven Anakill drops back and fires for the corner of the end zone, and check out the catch as the Warriors would have some life in the second half with their lone score of the game. But Thomas Dale would answer with their score of the second half. It's the Knights rocking the camo uniforms tonight. A direct snap for Cole Lindberger gets them into the end zone as they survive a scare. They remain undefeated, making a 14-6 win over the Warriors. Staying in the Central District, we'll head down to Dinwiddie High, where tonight the undefeated and second-ranked Generals welcomed a one-loss Petersburg team to town for one of the night's biggest games. Petersburg trying to fight back. They're down 24-6, and Javery Mallory able to make a couple of guys miss for the first down. A few plays later, it's fourth down for Petersburg. This time, Dinwiddie gets the big sack and the turnover on downs, and they would make them pay. Zion Boysoy goes deep for Nyan Mason. What a catch to get the Generals inside the 5, and a couple of plays later, it's the quarterback who takes it in himself on the sneak. Touchdown. It was all Dinwiddie tonight. They remain undefeated. They're 7-0 with a 38-6 win over the Crimson Wave. Next up, that undefeated Thomas Dale team. That game, one of the most anticipated of the weekend by far, but our viewers voted for a different game to be this week's 8Sports Blitz Game of the Week because there were playoff spots on the line at this Colonial District clash as Glen Allen hit the road to take on Mills Godwin. Madeline Frentress was on the sidelines and has the story.
It was a Colonial District rivalry in our Week 7 8Sports Blitz Game of the Week. The Mills Godwin Eagles fighting to keep their playoff hopes alive, and the 4-2 Glen Allen Jaguars that could easily be 6-0. And with a quarterback that can do it all, it was the Jaguars that coasted in this one tonight. Jumping to the second quarter, no scoring yet, but Glen Allen is in the red zone. Ralphie Puccinelli takes the snap and floats it out to Colin Whidbey, who comes down with it to put the Jaguars up 7-0. No answer from Mills Godwin, and it's Puccinelli again, scrambling, then launching another one to Whidbey, who has back-to-back touchdowns for the Jags, and with a good 2-point attempt, it's 15-zip at halftime. The Jags run up to score to 39-0, but the Eagles didn't stop fighting. Luke Roberts slings a ball to Stone Gravett to put them on the board, and it's 39-7. Late in the fourth, Luke Perini comes in for Puccinelli. He takes the snap and airs it out to Ty Thierry, who comes down with the last score of the night. The final of this one, 46-7. I'm here with head coach Malik Sexton of the Jaguars. Coach, what do you have to say about the way your defense played?
They play hungry. I think the biggest thing I've been preaching to these guys is consistency. We have to be more consistent all across the board defensively, tackling, covering, defending the run most importantly.
On the offensive side, Ralphie had a great night. Colin Whidbey had a great night as well. What do you have to say about those guys?
Hardworking kids. Hardworking kids. Like I was talking to somebody else earlier, I let them know that this is only Ralphie's 7th high school game as a starter. Right. So seeing the progression of this kid from just being green as that first game, those first few scrimmages, and seeing how he's progressed as a quarterback, and then having that sure target like Colin, great hands. The kid plays center field. You know what I'm saying? He's an awesome baseball player as well. So having him be able to field those balls, those deep balls down the field, and also run a great route, it's just a sight to see all the hard work.
The Jaguars keep their streak alive in this series, winning their 4th matchup over the Eagles in a row, and they're going to look to keep this momentum going straight into the playoffs. Reporting for 8Sports, I'm Madeline Frentress.
Yeah, big win for the Jaguars. Let's turn our attention now to the Dominion District. The undefeated Manchester Lancers, they were on the road tonight in Chester taking on LC Bird. Both of these teams hoping to make a push into the Class 6 playoffs. And a big reason for Manchester, that guy right there, Landon Abernathy, with another big night tonight. He would get going early, looking to pass on the first drive of the game. And it's this week's Play of the Week winners, Landon Hicks, that gets in for the 8-0 lead. LC Bird, though, they would look to answer, but things would go south as they turned the ball over on their first drive, which would set up another score for Manchester. This time, Abernathy to Antonio Turner, diving for the pylon, make it 16-0, and then the dagger. But this time, it's Landon Abernathy using the wheels. This kid is Abernasty. Lancers pour it on. They move to 7-0 with a 46-7 victory. Hey, speaking of teams hungry for the postseason, both Prince George and Meadowbrook are in the playoff picture. They faced off tonight. We'll pick up in the first. The Royals looking to get something going. CJ Turner thinks he's got some space, but the ball is loose. Anthony Brody jumps on top of it. Meadowbrook has some momentum. And a couple of plays later, Deshaun Chisholm makes him pay. Deep ball for Deshaun Singleton, and he comes up with the catch and the score. 6-0 ball game. Meadowbrook would get the ball back. They would look to get something going, but a fumble on the play. It's the Royals headed the other way. That sets them up into the red zone. And a few plays later, it's a handoff to Tyshawn Bolin in for the touchdown. PG up 6-7. And they would capitalize. It's Tyshawn Bolin barreling in for the score. They, however, are unable to get the win. It's Meadowbrook that wins it 32-22. What a start to the season for them. Looking at some more scores from tonight across the area. Louisa County remains undefeated, taking down Goochland 55-14, while Huguenot continues to streak. They make it a 75-0 win over Monacan. Meanwhile, over at Highland Springs High School tonight, the 4th-ranked Springers back at home to host Henrico. The Springers playing their first district game of the year after a very tough non-district slate. And they wasted no time getting on the scoreboard. It's who else but my man Antoine Richardson that gets the scoring started with this pick six. And then he would get another touchdown, but this time he's going to pass it, connecting with the always speedy and talented Jeffrey Grishaw. Look out, you're not going to catch him. He's going to take that one all the way to the house. Springers dominant in this one. Later on, it's Eric Bird who joins in on the fun, taking a handoff right through the heart of the Henrico defense here as the 4th-ranked Springers, they cruise to a win over Henrico at home tonight, 77-0. They move to 4-2 on this season. All right, guys, well, it's already time for us to call our first time out of the show, but don't go anywhere because coming up on the Blitz, we head to Atlee for this week's 8 Sports Blitz Rivalry Game of the Week.
Stay tuned for more 8 Sports Blitz! Go!
All right, welcome back into the Blitz, everyone. Things continue this week with a trip up to Atlee for this week's 8Sports Blitz rivalry game of the week. Let's go ahead and jump right back into the highlights. It's been a slow start to the season for both the Raiders and the Patriots in this game. Had a bit of a slow start as well. We'll pick up in the first half. It's Atlee that's able to get on the board first as this handoff leads to an early score as Caden Wright get things going. But from there, Patrick Henry never really got anything going on offense. It's Atlee that pitches the shutout at home for the rivalry game of the week win, as they now have won 3 of their last 4 after that 0-2 start. Hey, let's look at some scores from our Richmond City teams. Armstrong remains undefeated with the win over Greensville tonight, while Huguenot continues to add to that win streak, taking down the Chiefs of Monacan 75-0 for their 5th straight win. As for the top-ranked team in this week's Grade 8 rankings, the Benedictine Cadets, they were on the road tonight at Collegiate to take on the Cougars. Benedictine has looked dominant all season, and that did not change tonight. We're going to pick up in the third quarter, already up 23-0 when they add to their lead. It's Fred Dolan that takes the handoff, and look out, he's headed right for your living room as the Cadets take a 30-point lead. Benedictine dominating in this one. Later on, it's some more action from Benedictine. This one getting a nice pass all the way down to the 1-yard line. It's a fumble on the play, but don't worry about it because Dolan's going to finish things off as it's a dominant performance for Benedictine on the road. They remain undefeated, making a 38-0 win over the Cougars. Staying with some D1 VISAA football, big game tonight at St. Chris. The Saints hosting a one-loss Woodbury Forest team tonight, and they would get on the board first. It's Charlie Edmonds coming up with the pick and the 6. He takes it to the house. Give him the turnover belt. The Saints were fired up tonight, and the Saints defense was all over the field, man. How about the top offensive lineman recruit in the country getting into the fun on defense too? Nearly forced a turnover. It was a battle tonight at St. Chris, but in the end, the Saints dropped their second game of the year in a heartbreaker, 20-14. At Hanover tonight, the undefeated Hawks welcome Mechanicsville to town and win big 40-10, while at Colonial Heights, the Colonials took on Hopewell, and it is the Blue Devils that get the rivalry win 33-6. Looking at some undefeated teams, Essex remains perfect on the year, a 68-14 win over at Westmoreland, while the Caroline Cavaliers get a 6-0 win. They move to 6-0 for the first time in school history. And we'll finish tonight's games with the Colonial District Showdown as the Douglas Freeman Mavericks hosted Class 2 Thomas Jefferson in a very interesting matchup. The Vikings looking to get big points, take on a Class 5 team. A win would be huge for playoff hopes, and they were struggling to move the ball early as the Douglas Freeman defense was flying all over the field. But TJ's defense made some plays of their own. We go second quarter. It's George Davis that's going to let one fly, and it's Joseph Robertson that comes down with a huge interception, and they would take advantage of the pick as the Vikings find David Miller in stride, and look out, he takes the Vikings deep into Freeman territory, and then disaster for the Mavericks as they get crazy unlucky. Fumble on the play, ball pops loose, but Amari Go gets it in stride, finds the outside, and finds the end zone for the 10-7 lead. And in the end, this one was a 1-point game. It's the Mavericks that survive, 14-13. And finally, we'll turn the clock back to last night. Hermitage on the road at J.R. Tucker. The one-loss Panthers looking to get something going against a Tucker team that hasn't won a game this season. And the big story of this game was Avery Curtis. Touchdown there. Then later in the game, he's going to get another opportunity to score, and he's going to take advantage. Check out the juke on this play. Makes one miss. He's in for his second touchdown of the night. He would go on to score 3 first-quarter touchdowns in this game as Hermitage dominates on the road. 69-6 to move to 6-1 on the season.